Hello everybody, welcome back. In this video we are looking at the Monday Night Showdown picks between the Patriots and the Bills. Haven't made a Showdown video in a couple of weeks, but I wanted to make one for this one. We have two of the best teams in the AFC squaring off. And there is some notable news to kind of talk about with the weather and just with how the teams have been utilizing their players recently. So let's get into it. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate it with the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Yesterday the Showdown saved my night on Draftkings. We nearly took it down thanks to Javonte Williams at captain, had Bridgewater, had Mahomes, and faded Tyreek Hill, who was super expensive, so that worked out well. But looking at this one, we can quickly look at the snap counts here. The Patriots, they play 3 running backs. You're not going to really get around it. With the weather being so poor in this one, it's supposed to be heavy winds, it's supposed to be freezing cold temperatures, chance of possibly snow showers. Typical Buffalo weather in the wintertime. So you're probably looking at a heavy game plan centered around the run for the Patriots as usual. So I do like Damian Harris, even though he plays like 30. He's going to play about a third of the snaps. You could get more just with how much they should be running the football this one. He does get utilized at the goal line and inside the 5. He's their primary back to get the rushing touchdowns. So I do like him as an expensive option. If you're not going to be looking to the passing game much, you want to be looking to like Damian Harris. Stevenson is affordable in the mid-range, and then you have the value pick all the way at the bottom, the pass-catching back Bolden at $3,200. They all will play their fair share of snaps. In the receiving game for the Patriots, it's basically the same guys. You have Aguilar, plays a lot. Aguilar is known for his deep threat ability. Don't know if they'll try to force the ball to Aguilar a lot today, just with the weather being poor. So even though he is $3,000 on DraftKings, and I probably would get a lot of ownership, I think it's a spot that you could fade just because the weather isn't looking great. The game plan probably won't be to throw deep shots to Aguilar all game. You'll probably be looking underneath when they do decide to throw to guys like Jacoby Myers, who is the security blanket, and I'd expect him to continue to be the most heavily targeted wide receiver out of the Patriots. He's 72. He's not that expensive. Doesn't give you that much touchdown upside, but he still gives you a lot of just upside in general on PPR sites because he does get targeted the most out of any of these guys. And then you have Bourne as your big play threat as well, who probably like a little bit more than Aguilar just because I think Aguilar will be very popular today. And then the tight ends I think look appealing just with the game plan will probably be looking to short passes. You have Hunter Henry, $5,200, Jonnu Smith at $24. Smith is the second guy that they look to in the passing game. Henry has emerged as the lead tight end in the passing game, but Smith still plays north of 50% of the snaps most weeks, and he is affordable. So I would look to both tight ends. And then on the Buffalo side, pretty much the same type of deal. Our last game they played was Thanksgiving. That game they did not activate Zach Moss. He was a healthy scratch. So if he's inactive once again today, you're going to be looking at Matt Breida, Singletary sharing the backfield. On their price tags, Singletary does look pretty appealing at 46. Breida played a little bit over 20, like 30% of the snaps. The week prior to that, he played more, so it's still kind of a revolving door who has a hot hand, I think, between these two guys, assuming that they have Zach Moss inactive again. Last week he played 32, but Singletary just played 38. So I think they'll still try to get Singletary the most work, but in this week, I still like Breida just because he's not that expensive. They will still give him the touches. If he gets north of 10 plus touches, there's a chance for him to get into the end zone. They have thrown the ball to him inside the red zone a bunch recently, and he can get goal line carries as well, especially without Zach Moss there. I would assume that if they're inside the 5, they'll try to punch it in with Breida, then punch it in with Singletary. Singletary is more of a kind of smaller back that does give you more speed. But Breida at 66, if you're looking to the running game, I think he makes some sense. You could look to Singletary. I like Breida just a little bit more. I think he'll be less popular. And then the wide receivers on Buffalo, they have been starting to play Gabriel Davis more. Last week, or week 11, he played. As soon as this loads. Week 11, he played 34% of the snaps. And then last week, the Thanksgiving Day slate, he played 40+% of snaps. And they limited some of the top end guys to in the 70s. Sanders played 77. Usually he's been playing like 90 plus in early on or weeks prior. Beasley got up to 70. His snap counts have been all over the place all year, but you're going to get Diggs playing almost every snap. And I think Gabriel Davis does give you upside just because he's so cheap at only $1,400 or $1,200, and you're probably not going to be, feeling great confidence with the kicking game with the wind blowing all over the place. If there was one kicker that you wanted to play, it would be the Patriots kicker for me, just because he's leading the NFL. Even though he has a Q tag, it looks like he'll play. He's a cheaper one, and he's leading the NFL in field goals made and I believe field goals attempted. The Patriots offense, they move the ball, but they have a hard time scoring touchdowns some of the time, and it's led to Nick Folk having to kick the ball 34 times through 12 weeks. And if the win maybe lessens up in the second half, which is possible, I think Folk looks probably better than Tyler Bass. Bills offense at home, better chance to just punch it in, and probably a better chance that they'll go for it. But I do love the $5,000 tight end on the Bills, Dawson Knox, coming off of a big Thanksgiving Day slate. Or he's 54, so he's not even that expensive. I kind of like him more than the wide receivers Sanders, and possibly even more than Cole Beasley, just with the upside that he gives you. Gives you big touchdown upside, which is what you're looking for. Tight ends have dominated Showdown slate, so might as well happen once again today. And the price tag on him is very reasonable. So for the captain-wise, probably Josh Allen still. I like Allen more than Mac Jones, just a guy that can run the ball more, that will run the ball. If it does turn into a ground attack, he can still chip in his 40, 50 yards, maybe get into the end zone with the rushing touchdown. On the Patriots side, you can play Mac Jones if you wanted to at $10,000. If not, you can go down to Damian Harris, and then you can go with the kicker and Folk. Or you can play Mac Jones if you wanted to get the quarterback in the game. And then $4,000, you can maybe look to one of these defenses that could capitalize with the bad weather, get into the end zone, which is all you need for a defense to pay off. And both of these defenses have been playing very good ball. The Patriots 14, 28, 11, 20, 13, 12. So they've been dominant the last 4 or 5 weeks. They force interceptions, they force sacks. Not that it's going to be easy to sack Josh Allen. And then you have the Bills. I think the Bills look slightly better just because they're at home, facing off against a rookie quarterback in this poor weather. They could pick him off, although the Bill Belichick has been really safe with Mac Jones. He does have 8 picks on the year. So I like the Bills' defense more. I think something like this looks pretty reasonable and looks pretty solid. If you wanted to force in Singletary, you can maybe try to get him in there if you wanted to go down from Matt Breida. If you wanted to try to get to Stephon Diggs instead of Mac Jones, you could do something like that. And then you have probably look to get down from Matt Breida, go from Matt Breida to Hunter Henry. Then you can upgrade to Singletary here. So you have Henry and Myers as 2 pass catching options if they do trail in this game and the running game doesn't work for some reason. You have Dawson Knox, Singletary, and Diggs just to give you all the upside on the Buffalo side. And we didn't look at Stevenson. I think makes some sense. You can upgrade maybe Dawson Knox to Stevenson if you want it to be different. Or you can look to the Bolden, who should play. He's only $3,200. He does give you pass catching upside and third down work. He should be there if you wanted to play him. Over Singletary, I think that looks reasonable. You can leave some money on the table. Or you can, once again, look to upgrade. You can try to get to Kenyon Bourne here instead of Myers. I think Myers is fine at $7,200, though. Maybe you can go from Henry to Matt Breida. So there's a lot of ways to go on the Showdown slate, but a couple of staples, I think, for me will just be Josh Allen, Dawson Knox, and maybe the defense, the Bills' defense is probably viable. But I do like Jacoby Myers, just with the security blanket, with the bad weather. I think he'll get a lot of just short passes from the quarterback. Now he can capitalize on that. If I had to throw in another one, probably look to... You could look to Hunter Henry. Aguilar, I think, makes some sense as a reasonable fade. But if I was looking at the full-on Buffalo side, I think Breida makes some sense. I think he'll get overlooked a bit. 66 if Zach Moss is inactive again. He does give you touchdown upside. I think they're more likely to rush it in with Breida than Singletary at this point. So that's about it for the DraftKings kind of look. Let's talk about Fanduel. Alright, FanDuel, still think Josh Allen is the best captain play. He gives you the highest ceiling. You can rush in for a touchdown and you wouldn't be surprised. You can rush in for 2 touchdowns. So I will still probably be one of my favorite guys. I love getting running quarterbacks. I captain on Showdowns. Stephon Diggs looks appealing. Damian Harris looks fine. Stevenson is up to $12K. I probably like Harris more than Stevenson on FanDuel, at least with them being so closely priced. Still like Dawson Knox. Sanders is cheaper than Knox, which he probably should be given the production of Dawson Knox when he's healthy. Folk maybe looks good if you want to take a shot there. You probably have Matt Breida at 75, who's looks appealing. I like him on DraftKings at 66. I really like him on FanDuel at 75. And at the bottom, you can look to like Jonnu Smith if you need a cheap one. You have Gabriel Davis as just a punt kind of option here. And we haven't seen Myers yet. He's 95. He's pretty reasonably priced. So, and it looks like a Bolden. He's 75 as well. So, on FanDuel, Allen, Matt Breida. Probably go with the Buffalo side of the stack here. I think Buffalo will handle business at home. You have 10-5 left, so you probably look to some of the guys in the running game like Damon Harris. And now you have 85. You can plug in maybe one of the kickers if you're feeling confident there, or you can go with another running back in Singletary at 8,000, or go with Bolden and go with the 2 running back approach. I think the Patriots will just focus on the running game, which is reasonable to expect in this type of weather. So, FanDuel is not too much different than the DraftKings side. Still like to target some of the running backs if I can. I still want to get to the big plays guys on the Bills, just because they're used to playing in this weather. And especially like Breida is affordable on FanDuel. I love Josh Allen. Diggs will still get targeted a bunch. I think Dawson Knox, try to get to him as well, but he looks a little bit better on DraftKings. FanDuel, he's probably priced where he should be. And that's about it for the video. So, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. I will be posting the NBA video right after this, so keep an eye out for that if you're going to be playing. And I will see you all next time.